Hello, everybody. I am very excited to review Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, with the honor of Indiana Jones 5 coming out, I want to review every single Indiana Jones movie once a week. I know I'll probably be past the week before Indy 5 comes out, but hey, let's just review it. And maybe I'll have a little special review. One of the video games. Because why not? So, I don't know when this movie came out. I think it was 1982 is my guess. I'm positive. And it's about an archaeologist named Henry, or Indiana, is looking for a mysterious lost ark that the Nazis are trying to steal and unleash terror. And Indy goes on very wild adventures to get to it. And that's what I really like about this movie. Like, Indiana Jones is like the perfect adventure movie. Like, Harrison Ford, when he first donned that hat, you just knew how likable of a character you're gonna see. Like, the movie does open with Indy and his crew looking for this golden little statue thing. It's not like, it's like a head. And I love the music. Like, John Williams is an amazing film score. I'm so happy that he even did the score for the fifth movie. That's how strong he is. And so Indy is with his crew, and then they're kind of bad themselves. Like, they end up betraying Indy. But like, this one dude picks up a gun, but Indy just pulls out the whip and then just snacks it away from the guy, and then that's how it just proves that do not mess with Indiana. And so Indy and this one guy named Pinto, played by Alfred Molina. I did not know Doc Ock was in this movie until I looked up the cast. Years later, I realized that's the same dude. And so it's kind of shocking. Like, I honestly forget that he's in this movie. I always liked the duo between Indiana and Pinto. I don't know how to say his name, but like, every time I see him in the Lego games, it would be very, like, they're like a good duo. But then it's revealed that he's a traitor too, because as they sneak into this little temple to get the golden gem they're looking for, and Indy ends up having to go through all the booby traps. He knows exactly what to do. Like, if he sees like a bright light, that's a hidden trap, or if he steps on something, then arrows will be flying all over the place. And Indy's very careful. That's how we know he's a great adventurer. I love that scene where he is just looking at the thing, and we get that intense music, and then Indy quickly grabs the thing and puts a sandbag to replace it. But instead, it's actually a trap, even if you just grab it and switch it. And then the temple just falls apart. And then that's where Pinto betrays him, and he says adios. After they try to jump a ledge, Indy tries to get back up. Like, Indy goes through a lot in this movie. And then he does go through the little trap door, and then he gets chased by the boulder. One of my favorite scenes in Indiana Jones is Indy getting chased by that boulder. Like, it's intense, it's fun. Like, you're wondering, is he going to escape? Is he going to get crushed? But you know he's going to get out. It's early in the movie. And then we see, like, the Indians and our main villain, Renee, who wants the Lost Ark. And he does take the little gold thing, and then Indy just runs away, and the Indians do chase him, and Indy and some guy named Jock. I always liked that character because the blue hat always caught my attention, even in the Lego games. And I'll always love the line where Indy does hop on the plane to escape. He does find a snake, because Indy's afraid of snakes. And then the guy tells him to chill out. And then later, we do get some exposition scenes. I know the scene's like not the most entertaining, but like it gets to the point of what this movie is going to be about. That they're looking for this lost ark, and they want to compensate it, basically, and it's up to Indy to find it. He does travel, and that's where he meets Marion. I think, I gotta be honest, Marion is probably my favorite of the love interest. A lot of people say she's annoying, or Willie's annoying. But I don't mind Marion at all. I think she's like, I feel the chemistry between Karen Allen and Harrison Ford. Like, you just feel they could be a couple. And as they meet at this bar, they seem to hate each other at first. But then later, Marion has this little necklace thing that leads to the Lost Ark. And the bad guys, the Nazis, they want it. And we get this dude in the black hat. I call him Evil Indiana Jones. I don't know what his name is, but I always thought he was like an evil version of Indy. He wears a fedora just like Indy, and he wears glasses. That's what made him iconic. I actually do like that guy. And it's a big wildfire fight. There's fire everywhere, and Indy comes out and saves the day. He has the gun, and then he does stop most of the bad guys, and then the dude in the black hat, he grabs the little thing, and then he ends up burning his hand. And then Marion does grab the necklace, and they both decide to flee to this desert place. I don't know what the place is called. It's definitely a different country. Also, the map scenes are very cool. Like, they show like one location, and it's like fast travel. They even do that in the Lego games. And so Indy and Marion are just kind of chilling at this place, and then it wasn't until a group of sort of like ninjas in this place tried to kidnap Marion, and they trap her in like this bucket thing, and Indy's trying his best to find her. And we do get some cool scenes where a guy tries to fight Indy with a sword, and Indy's just like, screw it. And he just pulls out the gun, just shoots him, and then he just walks away. That is probably one of my other favorite scenes in this movie. But then something bad happens. Marion, what looks like she was trapped in one of the trucks from the bad guys, because they know they're looking for the Ark. And then Indy shoots the tire of the car, and then the car flips over, and then it explodes, and then Indy thinks Marion has died, and he's very bummed about it, and he's with this monkey. This monkey is I couldn't tell if he was a bad guy or not, because he's working with this one guy with this eye patch, and he tries to poison Indiana. But then one of Indy's good friends, Sahala, stops him from getting poisoned. Like, he's a good sidekick, I'm not gonna lie. Always liked Sahala's, like, he's like the comic relief. And so later they do find a location where Renee and the Nazis are looking for the Ark, and I think they were able to locate it deep in the desert. And we get this cool scene where Indy goes into the thing with literally a Nazi flag, and then he uses some staff thing with Marion's thing, and I think he finds the location of the Ark. And it's revealed later that Marion actually did survive, and she has been captured, and Indy does find her, but he decides to let her stay so he can have another opportunity to find her, I guess. And meanwhile, Marion does have a little chat with Renee. They get drunk, and they're all laughing, and I always thought that scene was funny. It just, like, you just feel the humor. Oops. And so yeah, and then later, Indy and Sahala and a group of workers eventually find the Ark, and they decide to go into it, and to the little temple, and Indy does get afraid because of the snakes, because there's a whole bunch of them. And then it literally takes them all night to find the Ark. And then, like, once we see it, like, it's dangerous. But then later, Renee and the Nazis do catch up to them, and they decide to take the Ark for themselves and leave Indy abandoned in there. Honestly, Renee is a good villain. Like, I don't know why. The actor who plays him, I forget his name, he's really good. Like, you just feel like he is desperate for this Ark for whatever reason. He wants to open it to see if there's ghosts. But is he really a villain? I guess he's bad because he works with the Nazis. And yeah, that's definitely something. But then Marion is thrown into the little temple with Indy, and now it's up for them to find their way out. And they eventually do, and they're trying their best. Like, there's like tons of snakes coming, and they got these torches, and they tore down this statue thing that was also with the Ark, and they end up creating a hole in the pyramid they're in, and then they do escape. And next we get this very cool scene where Indy has to fight this sort of bodybuilder kind of wrestler kind of looking dude, and they're trying to stop some plane for some reason that they think the Ark has or something. And so Marion's got the jet, and then Indy's fighting this guy, and like he is getting destroyed by the guy, of course. But then, like typical Indy fashion, he ends up defeating the guy by just standing still for a moment and dropping down, and then when the guy thinks he's about to beat him, but he doesn't realize Marion's about to slice and dice him with the plane, and the guy dies and there's blood splattered. By the way, this movie's really violent, because if it came out today, it'd be PG-13. Like, there's a scene where Silent Pito is like torn up by the traps, like he ends up getting killed, and later at the end of the movie, I'll get into that. So, yeah, this movie got away with a lot of things. A lot of kids probably watched it, since their parents probably grew up with Indiana Jones. So, anyway, we also get this, I just love how this movie keeps on going. Like, they keep having these awesome action sequences. They got exciting music. And we get this cool scene where Indy's tracks down the Ark, and we get this cool car chase. Indy's on a horse, and he, like, jumps on the cars, and then he's like having to beat up every single guy in there. He like throws them out, and he ends up getting shot in the arm after he gets to the driver's seat. Like he even gets thrown under the truck and literally slides right through it, and then he hangs onto like his whip and just dragging. Like, he can take a beating. He's like the Mandalorian. Or there's also Star Wars references. That's what I like about Indiana Jones. There's some Star Wars references, and if you play the Lego games, there's a lot of references to Star Wars and Indiana, since Harrison Ford does play Han Solo and Indiana Jones. And so later, they do have the Ark, and they go on to this submarine in celebration, and Sahala says his farewells to Marion and Indy. But then later, after we do get this romantic scene where Indy and Marion make out, but then I always like the scene where Marion hits Indy by accident by using the mirror, and he just screams out loud. But then it's revealed later that it's all a trap. The Nazis got them, and they have the Ark again, and then Indy hides and then transfers himself all the way to another submarine somehow. I wonder how he got to that. And I always love the scene where he literally comes out of it, and then we get the music playing and everyone cheers for Indy. And he's keep on going. And then later, the bad guys have the Ark and Marion, and Indy threatens to blow it up with a bazooka if they just let the girl go. Like, I think it shows that he cares more about Marion than the actual Ark itself. He'd rather just protect her and be with her. But then, the bad guys end up tying them up to a pole, and then now they're gonna open the Ark. And Renee makes a big mistake. He opens the Ark, and then a bunch of ghosts come out. And yeah, a lot of spooky things. And people say aliens are weird to be in, like, King of the Crystal Skull, but check out ghosts or people getting their faces melted off. And that's what happens. A soldier, like gets his face melted, and, like, we see his eyeballs. And then the dude in the black hat, he gets his face melted off. It's all gross, gory stuff. And then Renee literally explodes, and the ghost kills all the soldiers. And I love the scene where Indy's like, Marion, close your eyes no matter what. And then eventually, like, I like how they all survive. Almost just Indy and Marion survived. And then I think the Ark is finally put to rest and confiscated. And that's how the movie ends, with Indy and Marion walking away. and spending time together. And so that's Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. A very exciting movie, very fun movie, definitely 80s movie. I don't really talk about older movies these days, but hey, I'm talking about one right now. And do you have any great memories of this movie? I sure do. I just like how this movie is very action packed, very fun. Like, it's just a fun movie that just keeps going. That's what you really like about it. You kind of don't really care too much about the Lost Ark, but you just care about the movie because of the characters. That's what's really good. Like, Harrison Ford, like I said, is really good. Like, he was passionate about this role, and I'm so happy that he's still playing the role. Even if he's, like, in his mid-70s and he's 80 now, like, I can respect that about the man. Like, he can keep doing whatever he wants to do for his career. So yeah. What do I give this movie out of 10? 1 out of 10. So, yeah. What do you think of Raiders of the Lost Ark? And I can't wait to talk about Temple of Doom next week. So that being said, thanks for watching, and see you guys next